Right, I just want to take you now to Syria. We've been keeping across the live feed, the live pictures coming into us here. Celebrations taking place there, people out on the streets in Damascus, as you can see there, just gone midday, waving the flags. And this is all to mark a year, the first anniversary of the overthrow of the dictator Bashar al-Assad. His downfall ended more than 5 decades of his family's oppressive regime. Country, of course, remains fractured right now with sectarian killings taking place and many struggling to find stability. Official events are planned throughout the day today. Let's cross to Damascus. Our Middle East correspondent Hugo Bashar is standing by for us. Hi Hugo, so just talk us through what's happening there today.
Hi Lewis, so you join me from Umayyad Square here in central Damascus. This is where the main official celebration is happening today, a day many here describe as Liberation Day, the day President Bashar al-Assad fled Syria, and that marked the end of 5 decades of a brutal regime. So there is a very festive atmosphere here, a huge security operation in place. Celebrations are being held here and also in many parts across Syria. And I remember being here in Syria a year ago, just days after President Bashar al-Assad fled, and people were coming to us to share their stories of living under fear, the suffering, the repression, and they were talking about how the freedom that they had and how empowered they felt. Now, a year later, people are still optimistic. They talk about the freedoms, but they know that many challenges remain. Many families here in Syria are struggling with a rising cost of living, high unemployment as well. Almost no reconstruction is happening here in Syria, and obviously many parts of the country remain in ruins after 13 years of a brutal civil war. Obviously, minorities still fear the new authorities. Hundreds of people have been killed as a result of sectarian violence. Critics say the government hasn't been transparent, hasn't been inclusive, but at the same time, if you talk to people here, they remain optimistic, they remain very positive. They say that the government needs more time to implement reforms, for recovery, for reconstruction to happen. And there has been a huge international effort as well to help this country, to help this new authority here in Syria. We saw that last month President Ahmed al-Sharaa had a meeting at the White House with President Trump, who has lifted the sanctions that had been imposed on Syria because of the old regime. And I think that many countries around the world know that if this government doesn't succeed, the alternative in Syria is more chaos and even more violence.
Yeah, Hugo, that's a really clear explanation of the current situation there. And we are seeing the images behind you and also a different camera angle. It feels like the celebrations, marking this anniversary, is an incredible display of unity. But of course, as you've been outlining and we've watched and seen over the last year, the divisions are still very significant. Can you look forward kind of over the next year? What will be the political aims of the administration? How will they try and move forward here?
Yeah, so this is a day of celebration for many. People have been coming out and they've been, joining, events like this happening here in Damascus. And again, yesterday we're talking to people here in the square, and they were talking about how, free they felt, that they had, the opportunity and the right to express their views and to criticize the government even. But they know, that this government and this country still face many challenges, and it is going to be very difficult for Syria to move forward without significant international help. So there is inflation here, security remains a problem. I think this is a major concern, especially for minorities here in the country. Again, we know how Syria remains fractured, deeply divided, and there is a lot of concern among the minorities in this country who continue to fear the new authorities here, particularly after the sectarian killings that we saw happening earlier this year. And again, there has been a huge effort by the new authorities to tell the world that they are deeply involved and engaged in trying to, turn the page in this, chapter of Syria's history and go ahead with very important and much needed reforms.
Hugo, thank you so much for that. Plenty more from Hugo, and we'll be live in Damascus throughout the day today. We're going to speak now, though, to Munzaid al-Zamalkani, author, expert in Syria. Thank you for coming on the programme.
Thank you.
What's your assessment then, 1 year to the day? What's your assessment of the progress that the country has made?
Well, there is no doubt this is like a new chapter of Syria. Falling of Assad, I think, is the most important step in recent history for Syria. Progress for Syria rely on the West mainly, because the unity of the country, as the your reporters was reporting from there, they were speaking about the identity, they were speaking about the economy, they were speaking about the safety, the security, they were speaking about the social order in the country. So this is a lot, as I said, the fall of Assad was a major step. We now a lot of minor things now came to the surface along with these problems, as your reporter was saying.
Yeah.
So there is a lot.
Hugo, just jumping there, Hugo, and you just said there that the crucial role of other countries, of international support.
Yes.
What does that mean in practice? Is that more than aid? Is that investment? What is it?
It's more politics. Let's talk about political approach, because till now, even for instance, last week, the Security Council members, they were in Syria. They tried to show support. But what is the actual support? Actually, they are supporting SDF. They are supporting the Kurdish militia in the north east of Syria. They are got records of brutality record against civilians in that region. So you need, for instance, when the Americans withdrew from some of its bases in northeast the country, they handed them over to the SDF, the Kurdish militia. They should have handed them off to the central government. So American showing, saying a lot, but actually they're doing nothing.
But I understand what you're saying there, but these are divisions that are very, very deep-rooted as well. And I appreciate what you're saying about the Americans and what they could have done differently. But these are
Yes.
deep and long-running divisions.
Of course, the country, we've got identity issue in the country. This is for instance, this is a big issue in the country. No one can deny it. But I think when there is international intention to help the central government to overcome these challenges we have mentioned earlier, me and all reporters from there, I think all these issues that can be just healed with the time. Of course, the issues in Syria need wealth of wisdom, a lot of time, big efforts, but all of that without the sanctions. Especially they're saying about that they have lifted the sanction, but actually the economy is not. The economy is still in big problem. And I think from my point, the economy can heal all these problems, but because the economy is down,
right.
The inflation is so much high, as the reporter was saying. Of course, all these people try to think about minor issues. So this is where we are coming from. The United States and America, they need to support the central government rather than supporting the division in the country.
I see. Munzaid al-Zamalkani, thank you so much for coming on the programme. Thank you.